Turns out the booty call with the Cuban link is a misogynist. Shocker. We're at episode 5 of House of the Dragon, and Crispy is finally showing the class his true colors. Spoilers if you aren't up to date. I just knew this dumbass plan was Christian's. Christian does not come from a powerful house, so he doesn't understand the gravity of parading Melissa's head around the city. Targaryens have power because of propaganda and their nuke. Christian just showed the town that the nukes can be defeated. During a time of war where these people are terrified and starving, people are going to start to come up with ideas. The thing I love about House of the Dragon that Game of Thrones doesn't do enough is the focus on the small folk. If you read the book, you understand the role that the small folk have in this dance. And I think we're starting to see that they are very important. Crispy's going to learn that very soon. The way that I yelled when I saw that this man was confused, that no one reacted favorably, confirmed all my thoughts about him as a leader, which if you didn't know, I think he's a terrible one. I am one of those people who are keeping Grey's Anatomy alive, so I really appreciated this scene with the maesters rushing and immediately going to work on Aegon. And the head maester telling Alicent to beat it. Even with one line, Aegon still continues to be the most compelling character. Him calling out for his mother was so heartbreaking. And I hope he becomes lucid soon because everyone sucks. He sucks too, but at least he's interesting, you know? I knew Christian wasn't gonna snitch. I used to think that he was failing upward, but now I'm seeing that there's actual ambition there. I just have such low expectations of Crispy that I couldn't consider him actually having ambition. But he chose Daemon and he's gonna have to reap what he sowed. Lord of the Rings has helped me appreciate seeing moments of grief. This was such a huge loss for Team Black, not just because they lost their biggest dragon, but because they all love and respect Rhaenys. The contrast between the way they were grieving versus the way that the Greens were scrambling and trying to get that spot was very telling on their family dynamic. I always thought Daemon was a terrible person. The one thing he had going for him, at least in the books, was that he was ride or die for his family. I don't know what the writer's beef is with this man, but I do not think that that sex scene with his mother is needed. Actually, I thought it was Emma, which narratively would have made so much sense because Daemon always wanted what his brother had. And it would have been that same level of twisted that they did with him having sex with his mother because he's currently married to Emma's daughter. I just thought that that could be done another way. I would like to take a minute to say, I told you so to all those people who corrected me when I said that this man was trying to claim the throne himself. He's been cosplaying as a leader for like 10 minutes. He already looks bored. All he knows is violence. When people don't react to it, he's not quite sure what to do. I loved seeing that soldier pop shit. I forgot his name. Man, I wish I could get that shot for you, but seeing Caraxie's head kind of lower down in front of him was... Directing in this show in Game of Thrones has never been a problem. Seeing Rhaenys' council talk to her crazy made my skin crawl. She checked them to let them know, like, none of y'all know what war is like either. It's been peaceful for 50 years. Like, I don't want to hear it from y'all. It's so relatable to see Rhaenyra suffer from imposter syndrome. There is currently a war going on because people don't think that she should be queen. Now the people who are actually supposed to be supporting her are also letting her know that they don't think that she deserves it either. Yes, she was a cupbearer, but she was around for council meetings. This is a lot to offer, and I'm sad Rhaenys isn't here to snap her back into it. And I think that's what the biggest loss of Rhaenys is. The fact that Rhaenyra no longer has someone to fully support her. Someone who understands her plight. Getting Corlys to be her hand of the king was an incredible move because it's clear he's the only one who could get that council in order. So our last episode where they were talking spicy and he was like, we're not doing that here. Couldn't fathom the grief that this man is feeling. Just the maturity it takes to work with Rhaenyra when she is the center of most of his loss, if not all. This scene with Baela was incredible. No notes for her. You got all the best parts of Daemon. And in this moment, I saw a lot of Rhaenys as well. When Corlys offered Driftmark to her was a really big deal. Joffrey, Laenor's youngest son, is still alive. So him offering it to Baela, him finally accepting women and their line of succession. Seeing Alicent eat crow was my favorite thing. I was kind of furious at Olivia Cook for doing such an incredible performance because it took away a little bit of my joy. You could just see her go from disappointment to acceptance to fury. And then you had Ramin Dewajari just blessing the keys like, I'm supposed to hate her and not feel bad about her. But damn, she sold this moment. Like, as a woman, I know how it feels to be overlooked. That being said, what did she think this war was about? Season 1, episode 9, when she was at that council and she realized that they had been planning for over a year, why did she think that was? I think they cared about bastards? And this is what I mean about Allison being naive. The entire point is Rhaenyra is a woman. That's what Rhaenys told her in episode 9 of season 1. You want power for yourself? Why are you maintaining the status quo? I couldn't imagine the feeling of having your sneaky link and the guy that you send feet pics to turn against you. Don't come up in my comments talking about, oh, it's because she knew she was the best for the job. No. Could have easily said Otto needs to come back. Aeron is still alive. But for her to suggest herself, we know that she was not hip on game. Daemon is not seeing any repercussions from killing 2 of his family members. Also, making him Prince Regent is an interesting choice. I understand they don't know that he's the reason why that Aegon is burnt up, but he's on record for killing 2 of his family members, and in this world, it's a big deal. Also had to okay Crispy taking in Melissa's head, and that alone, I would have been like, all of y'all need to step away from the situation. Otto is not there. Shame on them for making me miss Otto. Like, I'm not Team Green, but they are doing so terribly right now. It is only strokes of luck that is getting them through this. So assigning him as Prince Regent takes him out of fighting in the war because you don't want your leader out in the field. Ace is continuing to pull his weight. We'll get into book spoilers in a moment. I'll put up a spoiler warning. To me, getting distant family members access to dragons is not the wave. And I feel like he's open to it because he doesn't look like a Targaryen. The fact that he's heard whispers of him being a bastard his entire life. At the end of the day, the Targaryens being dragon lords is their biggest draw. It's their source of power. And now we're seeing 2 people make the power accessible to everyone. Crispy did it when he showed that they could die. Now Jace is doing it by putting out an APB for anyone with just a little bit of Targaryen blood in them. Are they going to continue to justify the incest? We find out that anyone could ride a dragon if they have some sort of Targaryen blood in them. It's a dangerous precedent. I knew that this was going to be a place setting episode. Did not anticipate how frustrated these characters were going to make me. 3.5 out of 5 Frankie Flames. If you don't want to be spoiled by the books, it's time to dip because I have a couple things I want to say. I am glad that they included this scene. They were making Crispy objectively worse in this iteration. Now we have a source for the small folk and their revolt in the dragon pit. And I'm glad it was Crispy. F him. I've always thought that this was a terrible plan. Just getting people off the street to get a dragon. We all know how that turns out for them. I definitely think if Jace didn't have to fight legitimacy allegations, he would have never suggested this because this plan is cuckoo bananas. Y'all, thanks for coming for these long ass reviews. I know I should just stick to YouTube. I don't be going there. Love y'all and see y'all next week.